Hey, and welcome to a special edition of What's Next with Joey McGuire. I'm Robert Giovanetti, and the first time we can ever say this, the head coach of a Big 12 football champion Red Raider team. Pretty cool.
It's incredible. Yeah. I mean, absolutely incredible, and what an experience.
You know, there's so much to talk about because we've had the selection show where Texas Tech was part of that too. But let's go to this and just that moment. You just mentioned it in your press conference. We saw it on the video. You know, you're emotional on the sideline, your dad behind you, and just kind of the culmination of, I mean, I know we get a lot more, but
yeah,
what a big moment was that in your life?
Yeah, it was incredible. First of all, I cannot thank the Red Raider Nation enough. I mean, it was so incredible. Just the red, you know, we that stadium, there was a red out, and there was definitely a red out. And then it was so loud. There was so many great moments, you know, I think as a whole for Texas Tech. And for me, you know, I've been really fortunate. I've been in some really cool moments football-wise, and man, that was the coolest. I mean, it really was. It was, you know, it's kind of one of these deals we talked about why not us, but, you know, one of the things that we watched, there's a couple little clips, and one of them is Dana White saying, "Bet against me." You know, and that's what everybody's done all year long. Mm-hmm. Outside of Texas Tech, not the Red Raiders, but outside of Texas Tech, is well, when is it finally going to the other shoe drop that Tech is not a good football team? And we showed yesterday that we're a champion.
Yeah, I was looking back. I went back to August, July to read some of the comments and people talking about, hey, this team will win 8 games maximum. And we've really seen this team is not only very talented, but really cohesive also.
Yeah, it's fun to be in a building to where they really, truly care about each other. The iron sharpens iron in this building. They're going to compete. They're going to make each other better. They're going to hold each other accountable. And whenever you have like those things together and it's real, you do have a really good chance to be special.
You know, I thought the game against BYU was reflective of the season, how you guys just wear a team down. Right, it might be close-ish, but eventually it just becomes too much.
Yeah, you know, that's it goes back to how we put this team together, how James Blanchard and the coaching staff really put this team together. You know, we wanted to get big people. Howard Sampson's a big man. Will Jados is a big man. And we already had some big people on the team, and then you flip on the other side. Lee Hunter's a big man. David Bailey, Romello Height. AJ Holmes, those guys are big men, and so that wears on you. And I think that's what happens in a lot of these games is they just wear on people.
You know, if you told me before the game, hey, a Tech linebacker is going to win the MVP award, is going to get a couple of picks, I think we all would have thought about number 10.
Yeah.
Right? But it's great to see, again, some depth there as well.
Yeah, it was really cool because a person that's been overshadowed all year long, and he does not mind this. All he wants to do is win. Is Ben Roberts. Right. You know, Ben Roberts has had an incredible year. You know, his redshirt freshman year, he was a freshman All-American. And then, you know, he kind of went through that sophomore slump. And it really wasn't a slump. It was just, you know, a mixture of us being young on defense and not as good up front. And then Jacob Rodriguez, the year that he's had this year, really has overshadowed a really good year by Ben Roberts. And then for him to go out there and he was banged up too. You know, had some hip issues, and our medical staff got him feeling good, especially in the second half. And
he gave us a scare early on in the game too.
He did, yeah. Man. He went down on one knee, and he said it really happened. He overextended, and it really happened the play before. And so they got him going, and man, he played at a really high level.
How much has Shield meant to this defense? Obviously, you mentioned all the guys and the class the portal class, the returners, but there's got to be a guy to put it all together, and I think Shield's been invaluable.
There's no doubt. Like, what doesn't get talked about enough, because everybody's going to talk about our talent, but they're also going to talk about the money we spent, talking about, you know, just the media world. But they forget that we had 2 brand new coordinators. Yep. You know, this is first year for Mac and Shield, and for them to be coaching and the way these guys respond and play for these guys is pretty awesome. Shield's he's amazing, man. He is just a great person. Our guys gravitate to him, especially that linebacker room. That linebacker room is really, really close, and they're really close with him. And then, man, he just finds ways to put those guys in really good positions, and they're performing at a really high level.
I think we're starting to see Barron getting a little healthier every week, and I think a Barron in the Orange Bowl is going to be a real weapon.
Yeah, you saw him last week actually pull a ball that I don't want to see him running, but he made the read, and so you saw him yesterday make a couple of plays with his feet that really kind of we at least were able to attempt a field goal, or they didn't put us in such a bad position that we couldn't get a first down. And I think you give us this bye. Well, of course we're going to practice and everything, but this week we're going to lift and run, so that takes a lot off his body. Just going into next week of practice.
Was there a time yesterday in the game, against BYU, that you said, when was it you're like, okay, turn it off a little bit, we've got this thing wrapped up?
Man, I'm never.
I'm
always nervous.
Right, I know. Yeah.
You get to a point though in a game, and we've done this all year long, to where you could start rotating some guys to make sure, hey, let's get Lee Hunter out, or so there was points in the game that we were able to do that. We're going to do it on offense, but we nailed it out. So we kept our O-line in. We were fixed to get some other guys in, but I think that's a point to whenever. I think it was really whenever Ben had that second interception is where, okay, there's not going to be enough time for them to, really make a run at this.
And this defense puts you at a point where you're going, no matter who you're playing, they can't score that many points, right? They're not.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to put this number of points up on the board.
Man, it's almost like a boa constrictor. Man, they just start tight, man.
It's
like once they have you, and a lot of it is shield. With the calls, and then the players understanding, hey, coaches fixed to get in a rhythm, and they trust those calls, and they trust each other.
So someday I'm going to look back, and one of the top moments of my life is going to be that on-field celebration afterwards.
Yeah.
How was that for you guys? Just your families there, just celebrating with those kids, the players and your kids, and how did that feel?
Yeah, it was incredible because you get the moment with the players as you're up on stage and looking down at those guys. I wanted to make a point of coming out with Raider Power.
and that was awesome.
It was so friggin' loud.
It was loud, yes.
Just to show, hey, first, I'm a Red Raider.
Yeah.
Right? Started my press conference off that way. Wanted to make sure we did that. But it was really cool, too, to be able to celebrate with Cody and Kirby and President Skubanek and Dusty and, Mike Wallace, all the people that, Gary Peterson ate breakfast with us that morning, as a team. And all the people that have really, Jonathan Boutros, who's another Red Raider, man, like being able to appreciate how much they appreciated you, how much y'all appreciated that moment was really a cool moment for me on the field.
Yeah, it was great seeing those guys beforehand. Talked a lot to John Sellers, Cody Campbell before the game, and they're fired up and ready to go. And then afterwards, just seeing these guys, these tremendously successful in all aspects of life, just kind of breaking down and really reveling in it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was an emotional moment with with me and Cody, where the game wasn't over yet, but it was over. And got to give him a hug, and man, he was just so fired up. And it's same. I got to do it with my dad, but there was a lot of people that had been waiting for a long time. A long time. I still remember. I've told you all the story about being at the hotel restaurant. The guy said, 75 years old. I've been waiting all my life.
I was thinking about that guy.
And, I was too.
Yeah,
I was too. Like that. And I told him, I said, hey, we're going to do it this year. And he probably in his mind was going, man, I've been hearing that for 75 years.
Yeah, we've all been hearing that.
And you know what? We did it.
Hey, how cool is it when we got back? We knew there'd be people waiting, and we kind of had an idea to say, hey, if there's people, let's pull up on the west side of the stadium rather than the east side where we normally pull up. But there was a lot of people there.
There was, and it was one of those, moments too. I was telling Scott, my Texas Ranger, my dude, I said, listen, everybody's going to want to take a picture. I'm just going to grab and we're going to walk and take pictures. I said, because if I stop, I'm never going to be able to get home. And it wasn't that I didn't want to stand there, but I mean, I was exhausted, There's so many emotions that go into a game that like get you to that point. But it was walking through there. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
It was wild. I did tell somebody, that one of our bus guys, I said, Joey's never going to get out of here just because I saw so many people. But they did a good job of working you through. And you still took a lot of pictures.
I did.
With people. But again, it just shows you what this has meant to this community and just this entire region.
Yeah, it just, I can't think of it. I go back. And it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off in January. It's going to keep paying off recruiting-wise.
Yeah.
Like whenever you tell a Lee Hunter how special this place is, and then he continues to see it, like they were blown away, the atmosphere they got to play in, and then they were blown away that they came home and they're walking through a crowd like that. These dudes were just blown away.
And Cole even mentioned that today at the press conference, that it's one of the questions he asked you, how do you put this together? And he said it's kind of come through what he said he was going to do. So it's great to see it all come together like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
So today, selection show was great to be part of it. It was great to tune in. I think we all knew, based on what happened last night, Indiana Ohio State was very close. You felt like they were going to stay 1, 2, 3 in there. Just Georgia won handily. So I felt like we were going to be 4 going into this morning, and we were. Any surprises for you watching that selection show?
Yeah, there was a couple, but I kind of understand it a little bit where everything fell out. I think because of it, there's going to be some changes.
Yes.
But it was surprising that BYU and Notre Dame, whoever was the first out or the second out, it was surprising that one of those two teams were not in, the playoffs. That was a little shocking, but at the end of the day, there's some changes that need to happen, and so maybe this facilitates some of those changes.
I was actually talking to somebody about, first 2 out, Notre Dame, BYU. How much better this week, the December 19th, 20th would be if it was BYU at Oregon.
Yeah.
Notre Dame at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Right? That's who would have been rather. Nothing against JMU and Tulane, great programs. But in today's college landscape, they're not one of the 12 best teams in the country.
No. They're, and honestly, I don't know where either one of them are ranked, period.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, again, no disrespect to either one of those teams.
It's not their fault either. That's the way it was designed, right?
Another thing, too, is a little bit like, they have in there that if you lose a player or a coach, and both their coaches are going to new jobs, that's where I was a little surprised that Ole Miss held where they were at. And so I think maybe because there were so many coaches changes, they didn't penalize guys like that, but that's going to be really hard.
And you and I were talking about this and a couple others about Oregon has lost their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and they're going to coach in the game, right. But like he's got to get ready for Kentucky. Their defense coordinator's going to Cal. He's got to get ready for Cal. They're going to be doing both. You can't be all in in two places.
It was funny. They were talking on the selection show about the number of teams that are impacted by a coach, a coordinator, or a head coach leaving, and it was a big number. I can't remember, and I thought similar to what we talked about a couple weeks ago. Something's got to maybe be done about that, right?
Yeah, and it starts with a calendar. I beat
You're the calendar guy.
I'm the calendar guy, but it also, this doesn't, like what we're seeing doesn't happen anywhere else. It's kind of like the playoffs. The way we're doing the playoffs doesn't happen anywhere else. Like it's not going to happen in the NFL. It's not happening right now in the state of Texas that you're having this long off before you play. So there's got to be, the one thing that we've got to all understand is college football has changed. I love tradition. I do. But you can't stay the same just because of tradition. You have to change or it's not going to get fixed.
And that's what led us here. And you and I have talked about this, that college sports has been slow to react to the way the world has changed. And we're seeing this now in football. I don't know what the number is, 16. I think Utah at the end was playing like a playoff type team. I think that you could have easily made the argument the Big 12 could have had 3 teams in the playoffs. The Big 12 doesn't seem to get the respect the other leagues do. You don't hear anybody really outraged about Big 12 or even BYU, but there's a lot of outrage about Notre Dame. There's a lot of outrage about some of the SEC teams. I don't know how you fix it, making it bigger, I guess is the way you do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, even if you would have said that you're not putting the G5s in, you still would have, let's say in Notre Dame and BYU got in, the first two out, you still have a case out there for Texas and Vandy.
Yep.
And Utah.
Utah.
So, like, it's going to have to go beyond 12.
To me, I think 16 just makes the most sense.
See, the thing before, whenever you said, well, you know, everybody's always going to gripe about whatever the number is, I get that. But parity is real in college football, and it's going to continue to be more and more like the NFL where anybody can beat anybody. You're already seeing that. You saw it this year. You see it with Vandy, Texas Tech. You see it with those teams.
Well, Indiana's the number one seed.
Indiana, exactly. Like whoever
that.
would have thought that.
No one.
You know? And so because of that, then you're going to have to say that there are teams that could win it. Like Texas is playing as good as they've played all year long right now. Utah's playing really well.
Yes.
Notre Dame's playing really well. BYU's been beat twice by one team, and that's the number 4 team in the country. And so, like, those are really good teams that should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think there's, again, even in basketball, when there's, 68 now teams, you still have somebody complaining they got left out. So there's always going to be a complaint. But I think if you got it to a number like that, it would alleviate some of this. And I do feel like the Big 12's got to get a little more respect than they're getting, right? You don't hear quite the national outrage over BYU, who we all think is a pretty good team.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
Totally agree.
But again, happy about this.
I know the Red Raiders are in this thing.
Yeah, that's really all we really care about at the end of the day, right?
No
So
doubt.
Red Raiders are going to be playing in it. And so this will be a fun month, right? We're going to see J-Rod get a lot of awards. He's already gotten the Butt Kiss Award.
Yeah.
I know that meant a lot to him. And hopefully next week we'll talk about him in New York City.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
He's
Well deserved.
yeah, he's had a great year, but a chance for you here to kind of reset and get, like I said, get the team football healthy. Anything for you that you're looking at for this next month that you're going to maybe look at doing differently, or you're going to just get right back in your routine?
No, we'll get right back in the routine. Today's the one that's the off day of out of the routine. I still hadn't, just because of the day, the way it's fell, I still hadn't got to sit down and grade the film and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, that's the next thing to do. We'll probably do it tomorrow. I'll probably, watch it. If nothing else, I'll watch it at home, the TV copy.
It's fun to watch. I watched a little bit last night when I got home because I was jacked up after watching the SEC, the Big Ten game.
Yeah.
And watched a little bit, and I thought, well, I was proud of the Red Raider fans because they really, on television, it sounded great.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
just fantastic. So, Coach, on behalf of all Tech fans everywhere, thank you for bringing this back to Lubbock, or bringing it to Lubbock. It's never been here before.
Yeah, you bet,
Yeah,
man.
it's fantastic. But like you said yesterday, you told me this on the field, we got a lot more to play for.
We do.
Got a lot more
There's
to-
another trophy out there.
Yeah, you got an empty space.
We do.
Right now, and I have a feeling if we fill that up, you'll find another empty space
Dang right.
for another one. All right, for Joe McGuire, Robert Giovanetti, Wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.